Welcome back to Love, Money, Rock and Roll. We left off on Ellie's route after getting to this bridge. We've been a complete jerk to absolutely everybody, including the KGB. Well, trying to be. Let's see what's changed. You look like a sensible person sometimes, but that's only a front, isn't it? What do you mean? Never mind, what did you want to talk about? Kagame, I think we have no other choice but to pressure Kobayashi's granddaughter. She really emphasized that we, but let me finish. I know you're gonna say that she knows nothing and I'm only making the situation worse. But look at this from a different angle. Even if her grandfather finds out that we've set our sights on her, what's wrong with that? There is so much wrong with that, I don't even know where to begin. We have to shatter their illusions of omnipotence. That's the only way we'll achieve anything. I don't think that's how that works, but... yeah, you're crazy. I'm not crazy, aren't you? Wait. She suddenly frowned as if I'd said something very offensive. I don't let fear control my life, neither do I, but I don't make stupid choices. Then you're just being reckless, albeit consciously. So, you gonna help me or not? What am I even supposed to do? First, talk to that... Kagome clearly had problems with calling people by their names. Ellie, I prompted. Yeah, it's clear that she won't listen to me, but you're quite her type. She smirked sarcastically. What are you implying? Just feminine intuition. Somehow, I didn't want to pry into what that intuition was telling her. Why do you think things will go differently this time? As I see it, Ellie clearly let us know that she can't help. But she hasn't even tried. At least ask her, I don't know, to do something. Talk to her grandfather or anyone else who has actual power. And why would she listen to me? Convince her? How? I don't know. Come up with something. For whatever reason, you overestimate my persuasiveness. Or you underestimate the impression you've made on her. When have I ever... On the other hand, Kagome was a girl too, despite how she acted. Actually, I do think we've made quite the impression. Why? If things go well enough, you might end up the son-in-law of the richest man in Japan. Imagine that. What if Kobayashi-jun had a grandson? As far as I know, homosexuality isn't a crime in Japan. Blah blah blah. It really is an idiotic conversation. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming of running away from our problems. Maybe in another situation, I'd even feel good about the idea that I'd end up in a relationship with Kobayashi Ellie. Now here's the problem. You do want that. At least I want you to have that. I was slowly walking home, purposefully choosing the longest route. Home, with Mitsu ready to interrogate me. Home, with the old life that Ellie and Kagome were so desperately trying to turn on its head. Naturally, the lights were on. What else could I expect? I tried to open the door as quietly as possible, take off my shoes. But she knew I was there. Why are you creeping around? I wanted to surprise you. Thanks, you already did this afternoon. You wanna talk about it? I don't know. Should we? If you think we should. I don't know. What were you talking about with Kagome today? Looked like she had something important to discuss with you. Huh. Sure, Himitsu knew I wasn't a big fan of Japanese formalities, but some degree of over-familiarity, forgivable under different circumstances, towards a girl could really backfire on me. However, she didn't seem to notice. Or at least pretended to. I mean, that's... You're hiding something from me. What could possibly have happened in my life? Catherine's return alone was enough. That's what I want you to tell me. No, I don't think I will. There's nothing between us if that's what you think. I understand that Catty-chan is the only thing you can think about right now. Catherine, no, I mean, yes, I mean, of course I think about her, how can I? Who wouldn't in my place? And you asked Kagome for help, right? Wait. Like you helped her that time? I didn't help her. Maybe that's, a typo or something, because, yeah, I definitely did not help Kagome at all. I hid like a coward. No, actually, no. I reset and helped her. Darn it. It's really difficult to make choices and being a jerk to everybody. So, what did you ask Iwamura-senpai to talk with her about? What did I ask her to talk with her about? Nikolai? Well, you know, Catherine doesn't want to talk to me, and Kagome isn't someone she knows, or at least not someone she's had a fight with yet. Yet I was positive it would only take a couple of minutes if they ever got to know each other. Is this an interrogation or something? You'll have something later. For now, answer the question, please. I'm not obligated to report to you what I talk about and about with who. Even if I was trying to protect her, that sounded cruel. I don't want to upset you, but there are things, dangerous things. This isn't the time to talk about them, especially when the KGB is watching us as we speak. Although I don't like them. So, you and Kagome weren't talking about Catherine? Just a minute ago it seemed like a nice idea, but how now the entire lie had come apart ahead of its time. Nikolai, what? She was about to break into tears. I can't tell you anymore. You shouldn't know as soon as I can. Are you in danger? Why all these mysteries? I want to help. There's nothing you can do to help me. Then I better go. She stood up slowly and walked out. I kept looking out in the moonlight-filled garden. Ah, yes. I am a jerk. You definitely haven't done the right thing. But, well, you're going for a rock star. Obviously, you're not gonna be nice to everyone. Because that's like a fairy tale. Mitsu didn't even make dinner. Wow, you should learn how to cook, Nikolai, instead of drinking. But if you stuff yourself with enough bread, you'll eventually get full. Yes. Bread is pretty good. Unlike you, I can cook bread and all sorts of stuff. That's why I work as a cook. And the fact that you can't even cook like a housewife is pretty disappointing. Our fridge and shelves, like fighters on the home front, were unprepared for a culinary battle with an unknown enemy. In the end, I had to find satisfaction in instant noodles. Those are pretty good too. Hello? Oh, hello, Catherine. What a pleasant surprise. There was no one out here. You don't look particularly excited. I just wasn't expecting you. I wasn't expecting anyone so late. Shall I leave? If you want. Darn it, Nikolai. You're supposed to turn her away. What were you expecting? Nothing. I take it you wanted to talk at school? Surprisingly, it was... What? No. Sometimes it was surprising how sharp she was. Sometimes it was scary. I'm learning a different language and I can't speak English. Then again, I've never been able to speak English. But then you found something more important to do. With our class representative. Are you spying on me? Yeah, can I? I promise, I'm not going after her, I'm going after Ellie. She's far better on this route. I still don't understand what you're trying to get at, though. Do I need a reason to come here? You do, otherwise it's trespassing. Himitsu doesn't. I mean, she also trespasses. She didn't disappear from my life for years, though. Is that resentment I hear? Yeah? A part of me desperately wanted to jump at Catherine. No. Another voice was quietly yet persistently whispering that she was a different person from the one I used to know and love. Outwardly, Catherine had barely changed after all this time, but for some reason, I had the unshakable feeling that I had let a stranger in. Well, apparently I'm not welcome here. You're sure not. Darn it, Nikolai, just let her go. Catherine gave it a moment's thought, then sat on a chair, fixed her hair with an elegant gesture. I guess you're right. I didn't know how to start a conversation or how to act. About what? A week ago, you found a note in your porch. A note? I said slowly. So you're the one who wrote it. What about the handwriting? In your notebook, I flipped to your notebook during break when no one else could see. Are you sure that was my notebook? What? I borrowed one from a classmate to copy the material. Oh, so... But why? I wanted to warn you, but apparently you didn't need my warnings. And you know well enough how and who you should talk with. Why not tell me directly? I'm telling you now, I shouldn't have even come here in the first place. Oh, you started. Be so kind as to finish. Who's after me? Ah, now you're interested. What is this childish resentment? If you know something, tell me. The very first day we returned to Japan, I overheard my mom's conversation on the phone. She was talking about you and your parents. It wasn't a calm one. It's obvious you're in danger. What else did you want to hear? That's all you can tell me? I talked to her, but she told me to stay out of it and it had nothing to do with me. I mean, it really doesn't. Leave me alone. Don't shout at me. What were you expecting after that? I suddenly caught myself. Because she was expecting this kind of reaction? I didn't want to shout at you, and that's the problem. You act first and think later. I don't know, I've thought pretty hard about this. How many hours it took for you to decide to ditch me without even saying goodbye? Her face finally trembled and looked like she was about to cry. I sent a letter. That's enough. What else could I do? Ah, the letter. Yeah, I never opened it. Here, take it and sign here. I returned with the unopened letter and threw it at Catherine. The recipient turned out to be unavailable. So you haven't even read it? As you can see. Is that so? Suddenly, her face broke into a little smile. Her reaction appeared pretty strange to me, but I was too angry to pay closer attention to it. Yeah, it is. Okay, then. She stood up, straightened out her skirt with a careful motion. Nothing else? I've said enough, everything I know. If I learn anything else, I'll tell you. You can find the front door yourself. Good night. She bid me farewell in a inappropriately polite tone. Sayonara. Don't tell people that, especially in the way I just pronounced it. Jugo. Jugo. I think I mispronounced that. I was dreaming that Catherine and I were driving along the Great Canyon. We were talking happy about somewhere, and then suddenly, the SUV's wheel dropped into a pit, and there we were, flying down to the bottom of the ravine from a height of 100 several meters. And then, you woke up. The dream was so vivid in my first moments awake, it almost completely faded away after half an hour of a hot shower. I haven't even been to the States. Sure, I was glad that despite everything she still cared about me and was trying to warn me. But I couldn't shake the feeling that doing so was out of a sense of obligation more than sympathy. That's pretty understandable. But it's better to do good for selfish reasons than to condone evil by indifference. It was still the matter of my feelings for her. They should be non-existent, but that's not how feelings work. It takes a long time to move past someone. I would know. In any case, I had to make a decision. I couldn't just keep existing in suspension, hanging between her coldness and my feeble attempts to move on. But recently, I'd found new, rather unexpected issues to deal with. Yes, going for Ellie. That is a great distraction. Kagome stood at the school gate, tapping her foot impatiently. And let's save here, before I make the wrong choice. Aren't we gonna meet them on the roof or something? Maybe, perhaps. Here you are. Well, at least you're on time. How long have you been lying here in ambush? Long enough to get bored of it? You could have waited for me at the classroom. I couldn't. Let's go. To the roof. Getting anywhere? With what? Are you starting this all over again? You know, sometimes a few minutes can be enough. Catherine says it. On one hand, it had nothing to do with her. On the other. You know, something did in fact happen. Is that so? The girl who transferred to our class recently. Catherine? Her mother is a diplomat. I used to think so. She told me I was being watched by powerful people. She doesn't know anything besides that. She must find out. Look, not everyone is as childly bold and straightforward as you are. Some people actually cherish their lives. Yeah, right. When it's about that, men lose their mind. What? Nobody was even talking about that. Unexpectedly, even for myself, I got embarrassed. But you're protecting her? I just don't want innocent people to be flattened by your runaway, truth-seeking steamroller. That's an understatement. Although I feel like I've been a bigger jerk on this route, going for Ellie over her. Excellent. That's the first smart thing you said today. Kagome beamed. By the way, I have news too. I managed to find my father's colleague. His name is Ichinose-san. I think I've met him, but how come you know him too? He used to work at Kobayashi Corporation too, so it makes sense. I arranged a meeting with him tonight on the waterfront. You're coming with me. Unless, of course, you have anything more than, say, a date with an American. I think I'll do something else. I hope you really mean it. Don't forget, we meet tonight at the waterfront. Classes were going slowly, every minute lasting at least an hour feeling like a day. Catherine was sitting behind me, and by the window, Kagome was carefully transcribing everything the teacher was saying, focused on the lesson. How come they could switch from one thing to another so quickly? Or maybe they weren't, and their brains were on overdrive. During lunch, I suddenly felt I couldn't bear staying in the classroom, where everyone else except me had a stable psyche. I was pointlessly wandering around the school and came to my senses only when I found myself in front of the music room of the old wing. I froze in the doorway, listening to it. Ellie seemed to be playing a piece of classical music, but it sounded completely alien to me. I didn't want to interrupt you. Hey, Ellie. I entered the classroom. You again. How long have you been eavesdropping? I haven't. For long. After yesterday's conversation with Catherine, the thought scared me even more than usual. If it was the end, if she really no longer cared for me, I really would have to move on. Doesn't it usually happen like that? A pure accident? Hey, are you still here? Sorry, I got lost in thought. About what? Well... about you. Ellie blushed but quickly got a hold of herself. Boy, I didn't know what to say and looked away. I definitely had an easier time talking to Kagome, and it wasn't just about social status. After all, Ellie was just as much of a schoolgirl as all the others in this building. But the stereotypes that have been part of Japanese culture for thousands of years were strong, and I couldn't help but be affected by them too. Even though, to an extent, I couldn't care about our ancestry, now, when I'm imagining there was something between us, I felt different. Gosh dang it, Kagome. You gonna interrogate me again? And where's your raving friend? Hey, Ellie. Relax, I'm joking. I've been seeing you here almost every day lately. And before, I'd maybe meet the cleaning lady twice a year. I like the way you play. Pity that you stopped. Why? We could have played together. Go play with your hysterical girlfriend. Maybe you'll even make a decent manzai. Manzai is a traditional style of comedy in Japanese culture. Comparable to double-act comedy or stand-up comedy. That sounds stupid. Here you go again. Acting like this again. Like what? I thought you didn't like Kagome's attitude. That's because she's... Suddenly, Ellie got embarrassed. Wait, having a sense of dignity is a crime now? Unless it turns into a superiority complex. Snapping and being rude to people is far from the best defensive reaction. What do you know? Quod erat demonstratum. If you could see yourself right now. Ellie laughed and the tension finally subsided. By the way, we're getting a performance tonight. You seemed to like it last time, right? You can drop by. Just don't stare at me the entire time. I wasn't anyway. I can't make it today. You might find it hard to believe I have stuff to do. Yeah, and watching TV and horsing around. And this stuff. Is this something I'll be doing with that girl? Even if it is, what of it? I just don't want the TV to plot against me and my family again. Our father's missing, you know. I understand and I'm sorry about that. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Anyway, people go to school to study, in case you didn't know. This is also strange. Now... I think I'm doing the right choices. Alright. just because I want to see what the hints do. Anoken? Who's asking? We need to talk, let's find a place. The bell's about to ring, you a nerd. My name is Kawashima, I'm Ellie-chan's friend. Well, let's go then. The girl took me around the corner. She looked pretty normal by local standards. I hope you realize that you aren't in normal public school, and Ellie-chan isn't your normal student. You could say that, and I could say that. I'm her friend, and I want to love trash to hang out with her, and a gaijin to boot. And now there was disgust. In case you haven't noticed, Ellie doesn't exactly look like a Japanese herself. I smirked. What do you think I'm joking here? After all, she could very well be the daughter of a Yakuza boss. Yakuza, you want to find out? Alright, so, what do you suppose I did wrong? Like you don't know. Weren't you the one who accused Ellie of things like that she kidnapped a person, took them out to the forest and buried them there? Did she tell you that? No, dang it, I was a fly on the wall. She's one unpleasant person. I don't know what she told you in any case, it's none of your business. It is, I'm her friend. Ellie misunderstood or mistold the story. I wonder why Ellie hadn't said anything about Kagome's participation in that conversation. Look, and wine. Is that all? That's enough for the police. We will. Where are you going for? Grab Ellie and let's go. Fine, I'm not done with you yet. I don't know what you're trying at, but I'm watching you. What the hell was that? What the hell is this? I wish Dante would show up. That'd be great. More like an upset schoolgirl complaining to her friend about the school board. I was sure he would immediately take action if rumors would start spreading that Ellie was involved in some shady stuff. If Kawashima were to tell someone else, new details would crop up. Dang it, I couldn't let it happen. The worst thing was that Ellie, apparently, didn't realize how serious the situation was. I had to talk to her the moment I could. Lesson ended, and I was about to start looking for Ellie when Kyosuke stopped me. No, I replied harshly. Michael? Nick? He gave me a questioning look. You can never tell what's on Michael's mind. They surrounded my desk. It was becoming clear that the conversation was meant to be private. Guys, I really gotta go. Go where? We won't keep you for long. Break's only 10 minutes. Okay, what's this about? You've become close with one of our classmates. We're talking about Kagome. What does she have to do with anything? I guarantee that Kagome doesn't respect you all any more than anyone else in the school. On the other hand, it's surprising you even noticed their existence in the first place. What do you mean? It seems that recently you started paying too much attention to Kagome. I don't think I have. You have nothing against it, don't get us wrong. We realize that the heart is a wild thing. There's nothing between us. See, I told you. He's got Himitsu-chan. Himitsu and I, we're just friends. We aren't the only ones who noticed you've grown quite close to Iwamura-chan. Son. You do know what kind of reputation she has, and what of it? Rumors are just rumors. People are telling stories. I don't mean you should believe all of them, but there's smoke. No smoke without fire. What are they saying about her? Kyosuke, don't. It's no secret Kagome isn't from a particularly wealthy family. Joke's on you. You don't know that. And who says that? Probably the same people that bully her. I mean, I don't, but... She works at a restaurant, her grandfather's restaurant. She cooks and takes orders. Would you like to know? I've been there. Yes, I've been there once. You can be sure that we're always on your side, right? I said coldly, but what? There's supposed to be a but there, but you didn't finish. Calm down. We shouldn't have started this conversation. Why do you think people... Actually, I couldn't answer that question myself. Is having normal human morals that enough? The lack of inheritance or a bunch of idiots for friends? Maybe the fact she pays no attention to other people's opinions. Listen to me. If I really decided to date her, would you two just mark me for death? If you are, I thought better of you. You should at least know that I believe Kagome is a good person, and if our relationship did turn into something, I'd be honored. This is how it is, huh? You gonna run after her? No, why would I? What'd I tell her? Sorry again. Michael said and returned to his desk. Kagome never came back, and I had completely forgot I had wanted to talk to Ellie. After calming down and thinking it through, I came to the conclusion that I'd probably been too harsh on my friends. I slowly made my way into the hallways headed towards the exit. Mitsu's waiting for me in the yard. Let's go home. Let's go. How was your day? It was fine. Nice. Don't you want to see it? See what? The uniform. You're not listening to me. Yeah, sorry. Something's happening to you and you aren't telling me. I've decided not to force it, but can I at least pretend that everything's normal? Yeah, you can. I'm really tired today, honest. I just want to go home and fall asleep. It's complicated. I can't really. You could say I signed a non-disclosure agreement. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but are you lying to me? I want to believe you, of course I do, but when you constantly keep things away from me, it's becoming more and more difficult. Do you know Kobayashi Ellie? Not personally, but everyone knows her. Yeah, so we're having an affair. Ah. You should have said you sell drugs. That would have been easier to believe. So you think I'm not good enough for Ellie? You should have phrased the question differently. Who else besides me could put up with all this? Yeah, sure. Sorry. Hey, I'm trying to go for Ellie. What's wrong with you? Huh? Not today. Wow, are you really interested? Something else? How could I possibly have anything else to do? You're my job, hobby, duty, and cross all in one. Sorry. And if it was Catherine standing before me, I can't come in today. We'll see each other tomorrow. Goodbye. Awkwardness surrounded me on all sides. I didn't know what to tell Kagome after the ambiguous scene she witnessed when I was arguing with the guys. I didn't know how harsh I was supposed to be with Ellie. With the biscuit, I was patiently collecting dust next to my bed. And then I got used to it, and the guitar stopped bothering me at all. How do you do it again? I took the bass in my hands, checked the strings, and played a few notes. Not connected to an amp, the sound was dull and unexpressive, but my fingers immediately remembered the feeling. I played a simple bass line from a famous Western song and immediately felt relief. Unaccustomed to the harshness of the strings, the fingers on my right hand grew red and started to ache only after a minute. Why haven't I been doing this? I put away the bass and felt horrified. Was Catherine alone to blame for that? She hadn't been an invisible shadow trailing me, patiently sabotaging any attempts to change anything. She hadn't been the one placing invisible barriers, stopping me from performing even the most basic human functions any normal person would find effortless. She couldn't help, because I was in real danger and I didn't want to subject Mitsu to the same. I decided it'd be better to leave that thought to steep for a while and make a decision later. Playing the bass made time fly, and there I was on my way to meet Kagome. Either they were real professionals or I wasn't being watched. I stepped off the train a few stops before my station and made the rest of the way on foot. Finally, I got to the bridge Kagome was supposed to meet me on. Isn't this convenient? It's next to a restaurant. When I got on the bridge, Kagome was already waiting for me, but something was wrong with her. She had a black eye. I fell. She responded, still trying to hide her face. Somebody's fist? What does it matter? Matters a lot. I don't know what you imagine for yourself, but there's nothing between us. Better save the energy for Kobayashi. Let's put it this way. I understand what you heard this morning could appear, but I was speaking hypothetically. I don't want anything. I was saved by a dark silhouette appearing out of the gloom of the night. Ah, hello, Ichinose-san. And I don't care about this conversation. And we're back to school because Ichinose-san really had nothing to give us besides documents. And I don't know if he actually gives them. I have something only you can help me with. It's about Kagome. Hold up. I have no desire to listen to that. She's being bullied, right? I guess. You don't understand. I'm not pitying you, Umura, but do you want to take her place? By beating others, beat what? No. You'll see for yourself soon. I appreciate your concern. Fine. I don't think anyone here is here. You must know Asakura from our class. Let's say I do. She was with Ellie-sama in that canteen that time. Apparently he was referring to the accident with the orange juice. Alright. And she wasn't there alone. There were a few other girls. Ah yes, her friends. I see. And let's make a save. Would you spare a cigarette? Get your own. One of them replied with the disgust in my class. The name's Nikolai at your service. What do you want? No pain, no gain. I want you to leave Kagome alone. Who? That bigger girl from the class. Why do you care? Would you look at this knight in shining armor? Did you lose your steed on the way? It's none of your business. Leave her alone. She hasn't done anything to you. What if we don't? I'll tell the principal. I'll tell the teacher. Runs away. You know, in my country, you'd be sent to a prison camp. You know what? I don't care. Oh. So it pops up a little picture of them. That was cute. You think you're invincible? I turned around and saw the idiots. Okay. So the other choice puts you towards Kagome by running away. This one, on the other hand, does nothing. Nice! Guys, the girls dropped their cigarettes and ran to him. Hey you, one of them called to me. I came closer. Asakura was the one left. The other girls haven't run away. Not so brave now, are you? You think might makes right? Having the numbers put you on top? That's the perk we saw in the bar. Ain't you perceptive? Hi, Michael. Interesting. Obviously, I'm gonna tell the truth. I did I was really protecting Kagome by trying to shield her from Ellie's wrath. Yeah, I'm not a bully. Sorry, Kagome, I don't like you in this playthrough. Did you know that your friends regularly pick on Kagome? They bully and humiliate her, and they even gave her a black eye. Come on, show her. Where is it? Ellie smirked. You're not the only one who knows how to use makeup. Kagome said all of a sudden. You come closer and see if you don't believe it, but I don't need anyone's protection. You two set it up. And why would we do that? Because you need something from me, and this is how you're blackmailing me or something. Not to be too hard on myself, but that's too clever for me. Why would I believe you? Just because she got punched in the eye? Haven't you noticed that about your friends? They clearly aren't the most well-behaved people. They couldn't have done that. Perhaps you really don't understand why other people would act the way they do, but they can and they do, regardless of whether you and I understand, just because they want to. But it's nonsense. Why would they spend time on someone like her? Because she's poor, easily bullyable? After all, Kagome, I don't need your condensation. I'm just trying to help. I don't want your help nor protection. You think you're somehow better than them, but you're wrong. Looks like she doesn't need your protection. It doesn't matter, I care about justice first. You don't need to have a good relationship with the oppressed to be against her oppression. Is that so? I wonder, would you be saying the same if it was someone else in her place? You don't believe me? Well, if it's between you and the girls I've known for years, the choice is obvious. What about the truth? Will you just ignore it? So far it's been your word against theirs. I understand. I can't prove anything now, just keep what I said in mind. Forewarned is forearmed. If that's all, I'll go. She said after a moment and left me on the roof in proud solitude. I returned to the classroom, sat in my chair, and put my head on my desk and covered all my hands. Literally everything was going wrong today. Wrong, right, close enough. Hello, guys. Going somewhere? Yeah, I'm just waiting for Ellie to bail me out of this situation. Going home? Wait a minute, we got something to talk about. No, I don't think I do. He was saying as a disgustingly friendly tone Japanese gangsters always used to throw off their victims before an attack. I'm listening. No man, let's go somewhere. I'll talk in front of everyone. This place seems fine to me. You were braver this morning. Yeah, see none of your painted face by now to get scared. How dare you? Come on, man, we just wanted to talk to you and you're being rude already. I know how you talk to people. I've got first-hand experience. Not in this timeline, but apparently that's mixed together, so there's some time shenanigans going on here. Oh well, I still like the story. What's going on here? A menacing voice sounded behind my back. Ellie? It's no exaggeration to say that Ellie saved me. What are you guys up to here? You see, Ellie, all I see is you ganging up on a single person. We just wanted to talk. About what, I wonder? What do you have to do with him? She looked at me like I was guilty of something too. Nick told me about you, I should have listened. I was just worried about you. And you were gonna express your worry by attacking everyone I know who isn't you? But you said yourself that I've said a lot. She got embarrassed for a second, but quickly recovered and continued in the same confident tone. I'm capable of deciding who I talk to. I don't need your approval or your help. But I'm done talking about it. The brave Sonderkommando. Special unit in German. In the West, most commonly referred to the death units of concentration camps in Nazi Germany, though in Russian culture, it is also often used in somewhat less grim meanings contexts. Neat. Thank you. If you think I did it for you, oh come on, fine. They really were in the wrong here. I'm surprised you never noticed before. You know, whatever you might think, I don't have much of a choice in friends. My position imposes certain obligations. Doesn't seem to bother you much when jump around on the stage with a guitar. That's not the same. She protested fiercely. The difference is, I don't know. You should thank me for saving you. I did. Oh, right. And I'm not the real problem. There are people who get it way worse from them. Like you. Like Kagame. Of course it's wrong that they picked on you, but the way you handled Kawashima yesterday. Open your eyes, Your Highness. Real life is happening all around you. And in real life, even beggars have caused problems created by rich kids. I believe you. It's just these people have different hobbies. You play music and they bully people. And then think about it. Why would I lie? And what for? Why would they bully your friend? Do you want my professional opinion as a psychologist? I don't know. You're just projecting. I'm just saying that people can be different. I still can't believe you never noticed anything earlier. Even if I had. Is it important now? She smiled sadly. You know, I'm not a judge. You don't need to explain yourself to me. I'm not. Maybe I just want to convince myself everything's fine. Is it working? Not really. Sorry, I'll talk to him. It won't happen again. Don't make promises for other people. They'll listen to me. I hope so. She recently, and with almost the same confidence, she had been trying to convince me that her friends were completely innocent. How many more wondrous discoveries the world had prepared for this Ojo-sama? For now, I hope your friends aren't waiting for me around the corner. Want me to see you home? Totally. See you around. I stopped at the gate and looked at Mitsu's house. Maybe somewhere deep inside I wanted to find her in my home making dinner. But she's not. It was Arena, sitting cross-legged. Finally, I've grown tired of waiting. Sorry, KGB lady, I don't like you. It's only been 3 days and you've managed to create such a star. I'm totally acting normal, I'm just going for a rock star here. Iwamura, whatever. We've been working on her father for a while now. Do you know where he is? Is he alive? You worried about her? I was in her shoes once, so I know how she feels. Is that enough? And if she's luckier than you, her father is alive. For now. I see you're happy. Trying to think about someone other than myself. Why, that is wonderful. Love for the motherland begins with love for your neighbor. No. I don't think I will. She doesn't know anything, really? You mean you suspect me? Why do you think we haven't investigated her? Do you want me to stop communicating with her? Oh, quite the contrary. Ah, so you know about that too. We know a lot, and what we don't, we will soon. Except it's not a date. If you're waiting for someone else, I'm afraid he won't come. We invited your acquaintance for a little talk. His papers didn't prove any very interesting, however. Or vice versa. Then what do you want from me? You've been seen in the company of the granddaughter of Kobayashi Corporation's chairman. Do you have spies behind every tree or something? Fine. If you think Kagome knows nothing, what's so different about her? Ah, so you have an eye on her as well. Would you look at that? I didn't expect that of you, Nikolai. Well, great achievements require ambitious goals. We could use our own man in the Kobayashi family. Are you serious right now? In any case, you neglected my warning. Nobody knows if you'll actually get anything out of her granddaughter, but we can't rule out the possibility. Foolish to use a freelance operative. I'll give you some time to collect your thoughts and process all this information, but remember, you won't get much. And don't forget, we're always close by. Toki and I have seen different after Arena's visit. It's unbearable to stand on the bridge. You were early? I just got here. Sorry for today's episode on the roof. I really don't want to end like that. Doesn't matter. Let's go. About that. He won't come. What do you mean he isn't coming? KGB. Promise that you're gonna listen to me and won't jump to conclusions. Spit out already. Last Sunday I came across a woman. A Russian working for the KGB. That easily? Yeah, what else could they get out of me? Naturally, you didn't find it necessary to share this information with me. Well, it's not like I've told you anything. I'm lying. Lying through my teeth. She told me your father's alive, of course, and you're only telling me this now. I just found out a couple hours ago. It's not mine, and you knew about it and kept quiet. I didn't know anything. What if you're with them? What if this is a trick to... Would you listen to yourself for once? I told you the truth, and what do I get? Your hysterics aren't gonna help here. It is, actually. I really don't care what you're going through right now. I'm a jerk. I guess you're right. Exactly. You just get tired of living under the pressure of responsibility all the time. Tired of the endless attacks. He'll be back. To be honest, I don't know what to say, and I'm not sure my words will change anything. Arena said that they took him, and there was nothing interesting in his papers. If we take her word for it, would you? I mean, yeah, we can trust her. Anyway, there's no one to wait for here. See ya. I'll manage. Skipping is fun. Don't care. Leave me alone, I don't like you. Sorry, the risk is too dang high. Looks like being right is the reason enough for you to do anything at all. As if I can actually harm them in any way. Then why so much hatred? Should I smile, keep quiet, and bat my eyes like your girlfriends? That's too much. It was too much when I decided to involve myself with you. I did everything I could. Fine. Then all the best. She stood up, collected the papers from the table, went out of her way too slowly, carefully put them into the folder, and walked away. How long was I supposed to say leash to her? Hey, you definitely have a taste for women. What are you talking about? The way you were looking at her. What way was I looking at her? The way you used to look at Catherine sometimes. Would you please leave the filthy insinuations, for Christ's sake? Kugum and I were having a fight. You mean to say you never had them with Catherine? Under different circumstances? What's stopping you now? A lot. I spent the entire way back thinking about the bartender's words. The young body continues to function at maximum efficiency without any problems. It sure does. I was awoken up by another doorbell. Hey, Ellie. Were you sleeping? Sorry for waking you up. I mean, I was, but no worries. Maybe it was the guitar hanging off her back. Something happened. Everything's fine, at least as it can be. You want to come in? I wouldn't say no. Yes, I'm so glad I've been a complete prick to Kagome, and I think that shuts me out of her route right there, because I didn't choose to support her. Hopefully we see some differentiating things in the story. But thank you. Don't worry, nobody's watching us here. It's just the last time I didn't have much time to look around. Where would I get the money? Grandpa's money is his money. I don't have much more in my pocket than any other schoolgirl. I'll think about it. Ellie was fidgeting in place. To what do I owe the honor? You haven't been to school today, so I decided to drop by because yesterday was awkward. I also feel guilty about what happened. After all, they're my friends. Is that all you can say? What am I supposed to say? To be honest, I'm not very good at this whole manners thing, so I'd be happy for a couple lessons. I've got a couple lessons for you. You mentioned you play bass, right? That's fine. Well, you're gonna show me your bass? Haven't I already showed you it? I expected worse. Ah, there it is. Not bad at all. It's a bit out of tune. Wait a bit. You know, when someone says it's not difficult, that's the first tell it's gonna be difficult. Can't achieve anything without practice. You think I could play guitar from the day I was born? Well, let's see about that. Alright, give it to me. She unceremoniously grabbed the bass out of my hands and tuned it. And started playing it. What is that? One of my new songs. Ellie took her guitar out of its case. Ready? 1, 2, 3. She just started playing and I looked at her. Fine, when I snap my fingers like this, start playing what I showed you. You know, there's a Russian fairy tale about a donkey, a goat, a monkey, and a bear. Quartet by Ivan Krylov. Neat. Never heard of it. But I'm also not Russian. I'm just realistically evaluating my skill based on my prior experience. That's not the same. Why? I think it suits you. You're so afraid that somebody will think something wrong about you that you prefer not to try at all. I don't care about... If you want it that much, fine. Great. The song actually turned out to be relatively simple. I never thought you could remain calm so effortlessly calm. While I wanted to smash my head against the bass, Ellie kept repeating the same thing over and over again, and finally I got it. One time. Only once we played it correctly. Woohoo. See, and you were afraid. But it wasn't easy. How do you feel now? How do I feel? My mood was indeed much better, and I felt an unusual influx of energy and positivity. What did I tell you? By the way, I wanted to ask you. I thought you were going to sing today. No, not today. She suddenly grew embarrassed and quickly put the guitar back in its case. The lyrics aren't finished yet. I see. You know, actually, I came to tell you that I'm ready to help you. Well, not both of you, just you. I don't want anything to do with that girl. Alright, got it. You don't need to talk to her at all. And he's probably right, but what? Nothing. I told you I'll help, so I will. I've got to go now. I saw Ellie to the door, closed it behind her, and kept standing in the hallway, staring right in front of me. Help, huh? I was supposed to be happy, but there was something about this entire situation that made me anxious. The rest of the day was surprisingly peaceful for the first time in a long time. I was walking around the house like a tiger in a cage, unable to find anything to do. Nothing ever happened. My bed took me in its embrace, covered me with a warm blanket, its soft pillow whispering a kind lullaby, and sleep came at once. The awakening was just as quick. I jerked up because of broken glass. With effort, I got up and sneaked into the kitchen. I spent a long time hesitating and threw the door open, and there was no one there. The fact that there isn't like an alternate thing with broken glass is weird, but to each their own. Well, I chose not to help Kagome. She is not living with me. So I think I can join that band. Zed feels. It's probably those delinquents at school doing this. It's better to be alone. I thought that under different circumstances I'd be with Himitsu now. Yeah, you would, if I hadn't have restarted to make sure I go into the route I wanted. Ha! If I hadn't met Kagome and Ellie, if the not-so-sane KGB major hadn't come up with the idea to pry out government secrets out of an innocent school kid. Especially if you have no influence it either way. And he goes to sleep. (1809, 1987), or Ju. Hachi. It's either Hachi or Nana. Or Shushi. Can't remember. At least I could try. Long before class started, I was standing at the school gate waiting for Asakura and Kawashima. And when the car drove away, I approached Asakura. We need to talk about yesterday. Yeah, about that too. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm claiming about you breaking my window yesterday and smearing my door with paint. I've got cameras in my yard. I totally don't, but I'm just gonna keep talking because I don't like any of you. I have evidence. She smirked. To be honest, I'd kinda lost confidence in that trick. What camera? The camera that records everything happening in my yard. So what were you doing yesterday night? Why would I tell you? Mary? What, Ellie? Am I supposed to stay and listen while I'm accused of something? You can say all you want, but you can't prove anything. I don't need to. Kagome, the way we were standing made it difficult for others to walk past us, but she still tried to slip by. Ah, there you are. Kagome stopped and gave me a weary look. Are you gonna keep claiming they're innocent? They're all links in a chain. Come on, show them. I don't want to get involved in this. What are you mumbling? Speak up. I, for one, have no intention to talk to that lunatic anymore. You do understand that they'll keep picking on her if you don't do anything. Well, if you have recordings from the camera. I don't have any cameras, why would I? But you have to believe me, why would I lie? Do I look like I'd framed someone just to prove I'm right? She gave it a moment's thought. I guess not. But think about it, what can I do? Even if you're right, I'm not saying I believe you, but let's just assume. Even if you're right, what do you want from me? Am I supposed to turn him into the police? I see you're a big fan of talking yourself. Can't say the same about Kagome, though. She prefers jumping straight into action. Yeah, I don't condone her doing that. But, teach their own. You're constantly protecting her. I really don't think I'm protecting her, but teach their own. Don't you understand? You know, you're right, Ellie. I should be a bigger jerk. What does my opinion matter? Even if I agree with you, that's not the way to treat someone. She did nothing to deserve it. Imagine yourself in her shoes. You know, you can imagine being in anyone's shoes. Easy for you to say. And precisely because it's easy for me to say, I'll never act like that and won't tolerate it in other people. I'll talk to Miku. Maybe she should tell the teachers everything. You absolutely shouldn't do that. And why is that? I was afraid to say that out loud. Kagome's got enough problems already, and why should we solve her problems? Nobody's. You seem like a reasonable person. Why do you hang around this girl? I can only think of one explanation. Please don't think I like her or something. You can think whatever you want. It's a terrible pity you're not seeing what a viper you have at your chest. Sure, I didn't know her that well, but Ellie didn't know her at all. Fine, I need to go to class. I hope you draw the right conclusions. Same to you. Ellie was clearly right about one thing. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes is a stupid idea. Just a week ago, I wouldn't have thought about any of this. And... how nice. Kagome, meanwhile, ended up not giving a crap about said unspoken rules. I wondered why she hadn't pushed back earlier. It's probably because you forced her in a situation where she, didn't really have a choice. Not all of them, though. As soon as I sat down, Maiko and Kyosuke approached me. We heard what happened at the gate. Yeah, Kagome smacked up. Would you be quiet? Don't try to shut my mouth. I'm not a criminal, and people have no reason to keep quiet and look away when they see me. Do you think I like her or something? Because I'm telling you I don't. Nobody's accusing you of anything. We've talked about this already. I thought I was clear last time. Our silence won't change anything. Fine, so what do you think I did wrong? How about for a start you let me tell you what really happened? Asakura and Co. painted on my door yesterday and broke a window. Why did they do that? What do you believe? Why would they do something like that, after all? At least some of us friends aren't the same some thugs. We believe you, but what does it change? You keep escalating this pointless conflict, and for what? For what? Because it's fun. Why else? I don't know. So then, I've been protecting her and it all went from there, but why would I? You can't win anyway. You do realize an accusation without evidence is about as much of an offense as what you say they've done, right? Oh, come on. Everyone knows nobody would try to accuse them without a reason. Are you sure about that? Okay, what do you think I should do? Keep quiet, sit still, and hoping I'll get lucky and won't get hurt? Depends on what you want. What do I want? If Kagome really is that important to you, why do I need a personal interest to stand for justice? Because we're not in an anime or manga? You're the last person I want to hear that about. Or hear that from. What do you suggest I do? We're ready to support you, but only if you're confident about what you're doing. You know what I mean. So are you? Exercise caution. I can't say I do. You're making it sound like this is an interrogation. We just want to help you and stop you from making mistakes just in case. Do you think I've gone crazy? That I don't know what I'm doing? We all make mistakes when driven by emotion. Tell you what, even if I'm emotional, it doesn't change the truth. I won't let anyone smear curse words on my door. Nobody's arguing what's wrong, but Michael, don't. Fine. You can be sure we'll support you, even if the entire school is against us. Thank you, friends. Good stuff. Class was surprisingly peaceful, and since I didn't want to make the conflict any worse, I tried to attract as little conflict as possible. Kagome hadn't been in favor with the school's upper echelons even before that, but now things have turned into a real witch hunt. Good. I mean, we've seen what she's capable of. When class was over in the ballroom for the first time, Kagome packed her things and walked out of the classroom so quickly I couldn't even do anything. Without even thinking about it, I ran after her. I ran to the schoolyard and immediately heard a familiar voice. Hey, what's the hurry? I turned around and saw Ellie, who was standing in the same place behind a locker as this morning. Well? Don't worry about her. Everything's gonna be fine. I've talked to the girls. You talked about what? You asked me yourself, don't you remember? Of course, I just didn't think you believed me. Let's take a walk. Sure. Oh boy, a walk with Ellie, my favorite. When the school was far behind, Ellie finally stopped. Won't your bodyguards be worried? They aren't my nannies. It's a shame that you take me for some common, rich, stupid girl. To be honest, I hadn't prepared for this conversation, so I don't know how to react. I can play music, rock music, though only because my grandfather slightly allows it. It's something like a game. I behave well and try not to get involved in anything too nasty, and he pretends nothing's going on. So what do you think will happen if I break this truce? I don't know, but what does that have to do with? Period is, I have to keep up appearances in public. I'm not the one who makes the rules, but it's not my interest to break them. So what will happen if you tell your friends that their behavior is, let's say, inappropriate? At the very least, they wouldn't understand me, that's for starters, and then even the leader of a pride can't force lions to become vegetarians. What a poetic metaphor. Except not for a personality. For an abstract individual in her situation. You didn't even know each other a week ago. But neither did I. The more convinced of it I became, more guilty I'd felt about the conclusions I jumped to after the incident at the swimming pool. Honestly, I'm not the one to be giving you advice here. Yeah, I want to protect her, but it's because I think it's the right thing to do. But you're the only one who knows all the circumstances of your life. I appreciate it. She gifted me with a disarming smile. At least I could allow myself to be an outcast and not care about anyone or anything, by only being an elusive Joe nobody wanted to catch. In my daily life, the concept of honor only existed in chivalric novels. That's already a lot. But what are you two gonna do next? I haven't really thought about it yet. Well, I haven't thought about that yet. I'm used to solving issues as they come. Is that so? She frowned. Indeed, at the moment it was just empty babble. For now, I was only planning to talk to her. Maybe your friend would be better transferring to another school. Nick, don't you understand that nobody will help you fight windmills? Not me, not anyone else. Why me? Because up until now, she somehow got around for 2.5 years without causing any trouble, so it's my fault. I'm not blaming you or anything, but to think about it, I don't know how to respond to that. Fine, don't say anything then. We have a rehearsal today. Would you like to watch? Sure. Are you sure that considering the circumstances it's appropriate? Besides, I don't know anyone from your band. I immediately remember the weird keyboardist. Ah yes, Tokyo Rider. My favorite. I like his eyes. They're green. If I had a chest for missed opportunities at home, it would have been bursting by the time I turned 18, if you insist. My parents often chastise me for wanting immediate results from minimum effort, but thinking about it, isn't that attitude caused by failures inevitable in the process of maturing? To an extent, but you have to try if you're gonna do something. After all, I could stop trying to learn Japanese right now and it wouldn't have changed anything. But if I keep trying, maybe, just maybe, before America's blown up, it might be. Given the current situation with China and Russia. But who knows? If I'm lucky, I'll be able to escape the country. If not, nuke time. While we were on our way to the rehearsal studio, I kept behind Ellie, staring at her back, and trying to imagine her practicing the guitar, working her bloody fingers until she learned another riff. I tried and just couldn't do it. You know, I actually, here we are. The studio, or rep base as it'd be called in Russian, looked very normal. Looks like we're early. That's fine, want to rehearse a bit? I don't really know. Come on, while there's no one here. Alright. Ellie walked to the stand with the guitars and picked out one of the basses. Here you are. Are you sure? Why? I don't think our bass player will mind. After all, they can always, make him to where he can't play bass anymore. Actually, according to the other, timeline, he has to leave soon, so there's an opening. Hi guys, she got embarrassed. Not bad at all, but you need to work with a metronome more often. I'm not really, but I still don't get it. How'd you find out? Find out what? That Yamada's leaving the band. Yamada's what? Wait, so you didn't know? Of course I didn't. Then who's he? We go to the same school. I invited him to the rehearsal. I see. Where's our manners? My name's Ishida. I'm aiming to become a professional musician. Just a part-timer for now. Mitsuyoshi. I study arts. Nikolai, I'm a high school student. Red only name. Though there might have been more to it. So what happened to Yamada? He had to move. For how long? Forever. But Kyoto isn't that far. He could. How do you imagine that? It's almost 500 kilometers. He's still studying at school too. I mean, he could have warned us in advance. Exactly. You don't just move all of a sudden. The door opened and Zed feels key burst into the room, still in his shiny glasses. Sup, Tokyo Rider? Nobody was expecting me, and yet here I am. Actually, everyone was expecting you. We have a rehearsal today. Nick, meet Tokyo Rider. Tokyo Rider? Question mark. He asked us to call him that. Cause I'm a free rider. Actually, we know each other a little. And I knew our meeting wasn't just a coincidence. Whatever you say. We can always just record his part. What's wrong with him? Yeah? I'm not even a bass player. I've just tried it a couple times. I thought you were pretty alright. You weren't even here. I was standing behind the door. Why? I have nothing against him, but he doesn't know the material. 5 songs. Anyone can learn 5 songs. Hey, wait. We can supply some bass parts. If we're choosing between that and performing without bass at all, I'm sure he can handle it. Would you wait a second? Don't you want to talk about it with me first? We're just discussing our options. Nobody's forcing you if you don't want to. I just can't believe this is happening. If you hesitate less and rehearse more, it's all fine. I don't really have much time to rehearse. What are you so busy with? What am I busy with? Apparently with staying at home and working myself up imagining one disaster after another. I need to think this through. We'll need the answer no later than Monday. But you can start learning the songs now. Are you away? I have no idea how to read music. You'll figure it out. Well, since we're already here. Even if I end up turning down their offer, playing together with Ellie turned out to be much easier. However, nobody scolded or criticized me. Quite the opposite. Everyone tried to encourage me and show me how to play the piece correctly. By the end of the rehearsal, I managed to play decently well. Fantastic. I think you did pretty well too, so if you want, still need to think about it. Alright. I said a warm goodbye to everyone and walked outside, leaving the musicians to collect their instruments. The excitement wouldn't let up there. There was no reason to celebrate, but my feet brought me to the familiar bar by themselves. When I walked out tipsy, the sky above the city was decorated with a myriad of stars. Yep, this definitely wasn't a good time for music or learning how to read it. But the tightly folded sheets with Zedfield's song sat tightly in my pocket. Whatever works. Although, I could also gain something more practical than just emotional benefit out of the situation. With disgust, I remembered her words about trying to get closer to Ellie. Was it the same disgust I'd felt the first time? Kagome would probably be happy to hear I was successful at strengthening my relationship. Ugh. For a second, I imagined everything in my life was turning around. But due to the fairy tale nature of the idea or the alcohol, I disappeared into this daydream for a good 10 minutes. Where she belongs. Wait, I was talking about Catherine. The vivid colors turned dark. To rip apart and destroy and throw away the love that had seemed unbreakable not so long ago. What would take its place? I don't know, you should probably go for the girl we're going for right now called Ellie. The lights were on in my house. Who's inside? It's either Himitsu or Irina. Nikolai. Good afternoon, I mean evening, I mean night. And I immediately failed. You're late. Pretty much. Were you drinking? 100%. Your choice. Don't do this. What? You know, don't be so passive aggressive. Nikolai. And what would you call your behavior? Active aggressive? I'm not. Anyway, as you said, that's your choice. Don't call me that. Don't call me that anymore. You don't have the right. I just dropped by the bar to chat with the bartender and stayed up late. You could have not come back at all. This is still my house. And what happened with the indoor store? Someone threw a brick at it. You think you cleaned it that well? I did think so. These aren't the same people. Oh, so now there's multiple of them. You don't need to worry about the window or the door. I'm dealing with that myself. They're classmates. I think. I can't hear you. You don't need to worry about anything. Don't you understand I'm trying to protect you? The less you know, the better. Did you ask me if I needed any protection? You just don't get it. I don't, but I really want to. Just leave me alone. Are you gonna say something? Fine, I better go then. Night. And most horribly, a quiet voice deep inside my head whispered that it was for the better that she had left. You had plenty of other problems. Yeah, I did think about own life and first and foremost. A life threatened by many danger. What's the point of a life without those who love you? No. You should go lay down. Why not? The answer to that question could only be given by the new day. Ichi Q. Or Zhu Q. 19. Mornings are particularly unpleasant when they're only unpleasant for you. I turned to the side and immediately realized I wouldn't fall asleep again. It was still early for a Saturday morning, just the right time for restaurants to open. I managed to sit up, shook my head, and then got up and staggered to the bathroom. The cold shower gave me a sufficient boost of energy to act. It was hard to say whether a day was enough for Asakura and Kawashima to come to their senses, but I couldn't waste any time. The only thing I could hear in the receiver was a series of meaningless dial tones one after another. Very strange. I would have understood if I'd called Himitsu Catherine, but Kagome lived in a restaurant. Very strange. Kagemaru. Kobayashi Dono wishes to speak to you. Can I at least get dressed? Go ahead, just don't take long. Rushing through the empty streets of Tokyo, the expensive European car quickly brought us to the offices of Kobayashi Corporation. Was this all about Ellie asking me to play bass in their band? An endless minute of waiting in the elevator. And there I was again, on who knows which floor in the giant office of Kobayashi Jun, head of the Kobayashi Corporation. Just a week ago in this very place, he'd made me feel no less reverence, though much less fear. That was probably because the two of us had come to him of our own initiative, with a goal in mind, and had scraped together a little confidence. And now it was his turn to make demands. Ah, Nikolai, I'm delighted you found the time to stop by. Please, take a seat. Take a seat, Master Skywalker. No, I don't think I will. Anyhow, we'll leave things off here. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget the like button, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. As always, goodbye.